Please give it up for Sue Galloway.
So I came to share my story of horror in the hurricane. I don't know if you're aware, but the West Village in Manhattan was without power for several days. And it is really difficult to live without power, and I'm going to talk about that right now. First of all, we had a refrigerator full of organic food that we had to throw out. I don't know if that happened to anybody else in the West Village, but it certainly happened to us, and it was very sad. There was also a freezer full of compost, which could be argued I was going to throw out anyway, but I wanted to throw it into the compost bin at the market on Saturday, and I couldn't keep it in there until then. I also had to check Facebook on my phone instead of on my computer, and I don't know if anybody's ever done that, but it's a lot smaller, the screen, and it's like really hard to like respond to things, and you can't like tag people and stuff, so that was also really challenging. Also, the Spotted Pig was closed the entire time, and I wasn't able to get any shoestring French fries with rosemary on top. Super bummer. Okay, anyway, I kept a journal, sort of the whole time, so I'm going to go over it a little bit with you and just give you the highlights. So Monday was the day of hunkering down. So like many of our neighbors, we walked towards the river and looked at it, and it looked the same. And then we walked home and had some people come over for Ebbelskivers. I'm serious, they were little Swedish pancakes that my husband made. And our friends came over and brought us blueberries, which I ate all of immediately because I'm pregnant and I'm allowed to do that. And then they eventually wanted to leave because we were watching the news and we saw that there were going to be cranes flying all over the place, and they thought it might be safer if they left. So eventually at 8:30 at night, we spent the day staring at each other and staring at the television, obviously. And we were watching a very interesting show on HGTV when our power went out. So I called my mom to let her know everything's going to be okay, and she told me that she was also having a difficult day because she belongs to a church group, and a woman who had just converted from Judaism to Catholicism was upset because the priest was telling people in church to vote for Romney. And this woman was an Obama supporter. So my mom was describing in great detail her email defending the priest. And as she was saying to me, oh, it's good that there are two parties. It's better than just having one party. The phone cut out, which was like one of the greatest things that ever happened to me tonight. I don't have to listen to her justify that anymore. I don't know why she thinks the only alternative to two parties is one party also. But anyway, okay, Tuesday, we wake up. No power, obviously, heater, hot water, and for some strange reason, my husband thought he wanted to take a shower, which is a good idea. We had filled our bathtub up with water in case we lost water, because we were told we might, and that would be how we would flush our toilets. But my husband decided to take a shower just by like standing in the tub and like putting the water all over himself, which he calls a whore's bath, and I call a bird bath. We were trying to figure out why that happens. We have a lot of time on our hands to talk about stuff. But for some crazy reason, and I don't know why, I held a flashlight on him and watched him while he did that. And it won't leave my mind either. It was really, I watched the whole time. I don't know why. Okay. So then we walked around a little bit and saw how much fun it is to walk around when cars don't have lights to stop them from doing things, and it's not very much fun because they don't care if they run you over in that situation. So that was pretty exciting. Come on, it's the West Village, we were roughing it. We decided to have a wine and cheese party that night, I'm not kidding. And we really were roughing it because we only had 2 types of cheese. So a few friends of ours came over. After they left, I blew out all the candles, and one of my cats jumped up where the candles were and got wax all over her chest. And so I had to pull all the wax out of her fur. So I basically like waxed my cat's chest on Tuesday night, which actually is not that weird of a thing to do in the West Village. Next day, day 3 was Wednesday. My phone was almost totally dead, so we like trekked uptown, like I'm sure a lot of people did. Charged our phones, ate at Panera Bread like a lot of people did, which is wonderful. when we got back home, I noticed that it had been the same doorman since Monday, and I really get annoyed by that because I don't like the doorman knowing how frequently I'm coming and going, because I think they judge me for not having a job. So he was stuck in our building. He lived in Jersey City. He couldn't get home or whatever. He was sleeping on the floor in someone's apartment. But I was like, hey, this affects me. Evening came upon us in a dark way, as usual, because we didn't have any lights, and I decided to make my husband feel really comfortable and at home by starting a game of homemade Wheel of Fortune. I cycled through numbers in my head, and I told him to tell me stop. And then he'd say stop, and I'd say $1,200, and then he guessed a letter, and then I was like, oh shit, I have to come up with like what the board is. And then I came up with something, which I'll just tell you what it was. It was Scissor Sisters. But I spelled it wrong, so it took him a really long time to get it. But like, and then the one he did for me was "I'll have what she's having," which I got really fast, but he spelled it right, so I guess we just can't compare. Anyway, day 4 is Thursday. Okay, at this point, it was kind of a pain in the butt. I know I'm kind of kidding about it, but it really was cold. The stairwell is super dark. We're trudging around, so we decided to go out to a nice dinner. So we went to 5 Napkin Burger. I guess that's not that nice of a dinner. Up on like 44th and 9th. And when we were there, I was acting like an orphan in a Charles Dickens novel, because I went into the bathroom and I washed my hands, and there was warm water, and I just kept like keeping my hands under the water the whole time, and just like. It was a unisex place where you wash your hands, and a guy went into the bathroom and came out, and I was still washing my hands and smiling and laughing. And, oh, heat and water! And I don't know what was wrong with me. I also ordered the Southwestern shrimp salad, also straight out of Dickens. Okay, Friday, at this point, it's really cold. My cats are curled up on their little blankets. They look like frisbees. I mean, we're all really cold at this point, and I mean, okay, it wasn't really that long. I should probably stop complaining. But anyway, okay, Saturday. We had power again early in the morning on Saturday, and we were really excited. I didn't hear them, but my husband heard our neighbors screaming with joy in the morning. I wouldn't have known that a scream was for joy, but it doesn't matter. But I had previously decided I should go volunteer because I felt bad, because you know, as bad as we had it down there, obviously life is hard in the West Village, okay? Other people maybe were having it a little bit worse. So I went up to 27th and 9th and handed out like emergency meals to people who, you know, were living, you know, 20 flights up and were elderly and couldn't get down. And I admittedly couldn't do too much because I'm pregnant, so I couldn't like lift many boxes or anything, but I did my best. And, you know, a few women who didn't speak English just came in and just put their hands to their lips, and I was like, oh my God, it's hard on, some people are really having a hard time with this. It really affected me, and I was very tired by the end of that, and I was walking home and I saw another woman near the Fulton houses, also on the west side, who was asking somebody, she saw a sign about the free food, was asking someone about it, and he was like, oh, I don't know. And he pointed her to a community center, and I just saw her like, with all the effort in the world, trying to get herself to that community center. And that really upset me. I was like, oh, I could just go buy her water or food. I didn't do it though, because I'm not that nice of a person. And then like a block later, 2 people were trying to get into the Apple store, and they saw it was closed, and they're like, oh, the Apple store's closed? And I started crying the most horrible, awful, like snot-filled, weaving cry all the way home. Because it finally hit me that like, we had been living in 2 different cities where some people were really suffering and some people just were mad that the Apple store was closed. So that's it. Thank you.